Good morning, David. There's a guy up there in his 60s busting a concrete block in two pieces. I took a video of him. He said he doesn't smoke, but he took a cigarette just to open up his lungs so that he could get more air in and hit for longer. Today I was thinking about Bolivia and crazy things that I said. I said that, look, that there's a situation here with involvement from multiple governments and nobody knows who is in what. I said you need to be able to, well, I said you could go to the government of Switzerland and ask them to adjudicate. But Switzerland is neutral. I didn't know the laws about Swiss military action, but I didn't see why, if a country needed help at the governmental level, that a neutral government couldn't come in and be put in command of the armed forces, and you fly foreign armies, foreign soldiers are under control of the Swiss government, and a Swiss top level command. And they carry markings, the vehicles and aircraft and whatever carry markings showing that, in addition to their national markings, showing that command structure during the phase of trying to maintain the social structures within that country so that the armed forces aren't abused in the process of whatever kind of civil reconstruction you're trying to do at the judicial and other level, where paramilitaries and all sorts of other things are involved. But I'm sure if I talk to a lawyer, I would know very quickly what the problems with that are. And I suppose one of the least of them will be the statute of limitations. I had various other thoughts while I was. The thought I had was that that video describing LDAP and what a country is in cyberspace was absolutely genius. And Roger Shell, what I was thinking about was Roger Shell's vigor. The first time I listened, the audio quality wasn't very good, and the second time I listened, he seemed if that is Roger Shell, his energy is extraordinary. And something I wrote, when I got an email from him, Richard Stallman had been writing at the bottom of his email some comment about Snowdon. It is the only way you can can challenge the NSA or the CIA is by doing what Snowden did. And so when I got that mail from Rogers, why do I keep trying to call you Schnell? Roger Shell. I said, so the answer seems to be no. He really did fight it the right way, and if you listen to that podcast, he didn't get very far, but he was doing it through Switzerland. He was doing it through the International Standards Organization. So that reminded me of Vladimir Putin talking about making Ukraine into Switzerland and denazifying. And my daughter's trip through Switzerland was just the most bizarre thing ever. It'd be great if she wrote her experiences of it, but mine were absolutely. It was a dream world, going from Paris to Geneva. It was a dream. The train was a day late. I don't know if it was a Swiss train, but I really didn't expect that. It threw our whole schedule out. We arrived at Geneva just before midnight, and our train out was 6 a.m. the next morning. And I wrote to my mother from La Paz in 2014 after I'd had this fight with all these people on the Knut Gall list. Wow, that was that was bizarre. And I said to her that the austerity of Geneva, and it seemed to me like a country at war. A guy put us up. He was divorced. He had an apartment. He said, "You can come stay in a spare room in my apartment." And I did. At first, I thought, "Whoa, what's my ex-wife gonna say when I've taken my daughter and her and a strange man and I have spent the night in a." I thought, I'm gonna get into trouble for this. He was a divorcee, and he seemed quite sad. And we stayed in his room. We heard the trains going by in the night. It was very close to the railway. And then we got up early in the morning. I don't think we saw him in the morning. We left. Didn't say goodbye. Very grateful. I don't know why I was being so tight with money. I think because I realized that it was 2008 and the economy had gone down, and I wasn't gonna. I think I needed to look after the money. So I didn't get to go on a train and didn't see the Swiss Alps. I went to the Swiss embassy in La Paz and asked them how I could apply to live in Switzerland. She said it's by blood. I don't know if I've got Swiss blood. I haven't got but I heard afterwards that the canton decides if you've lived there and you've been a good citizen, the canton supports your residency. It's not top down like the US. It's from the ground up. That ISO stuff is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The amount of work that's gone into those standards. My goodness. I don't know if I ever got to. Did I get the ISO in Bolivia was run by an ONG. I guess they mostly do quality assurance standards and things. I don't know. There was a lot of, I've forgotten the numbers. The one Nick Thomas worked on at BAE Systems. (9002). But ASN.1, wow. And the semantics for that. There's ASN is separate from. I remember Marcus telling me that the group at the computer lab had actually written an ASN1 parser for some project. It was one of these crypto library things. I didn't actually go and look at their code, but I don't know why I had such a hang-up. What I should have worked on was syntax directed editing, using an editor instead of just using GNU Emacs. The problem with Emacs is it works well enough for so many things that you don't want to let it go. But IBM did a bit of work on syntax directed editing, and that's the way to go, because you don't need to parse. You don't have that parsing problem. That parsing problem is just because you're trying to take linear text and correct it. But if your input is text that you know is correct, because it's been generated by a program which the user was operating in order to insert the sentences into the document, it's no harder to parse that than it is to parse standard ML, or not standard. It's no harder than it is to write a standard ML program that deconstructs a recursive data type. it's in there. I guess that's why McCarthy used that very simple syntax for Lisp. It makes the parser trivial. How did it get into such a shambles? Listening to the way Roger Shell was talking about the non-computability problem, and and then everything that's gone afterwards, that maybe there was a general plan, maybe everybody knew this, or hundreds and hundreds of people knew it at any rate, or dozens, and they said, look, we can't let this out until we have to keep the lid on this long enough until the knowledge of it has spread, but we can't just spread the knowledge of it. And so they actually cooked up computer science syllabi to get, as Thomas Forster said, to get people into a kind of well-founded initial algebra way of thinking instead of the final co-algebra way of thinking. I can't remember the phrase Thomas used, like non-well-founded. He said something, usually that is indicative of non-well-founded. No. It flip-flops. Lazy thinking. That's where you say, I'll work that bit out when I need it. I'd like to know what was in there. I'd like to. The cybersecurity proposals that Russian government made, and there was apparently some serious dialogue, but it was disappeared in a cloud of smoke on the alternative media. So I'm wondering if I go to apply for the apply for asylum in the US, or whether I can whether I'm Ukrainian by blood or something. Because I had some of my blood was spilled in Bolivia, which was the prototype for Ukraine. I had lots of other thoughts about human spirits wandering around in dogs and being rescued and put into different bodies and things, but I don't know how you handle personal identity with that. I'm happy going with the personality thing, but maybe there is a ground up way. Maybe what I used to call Fidel Castro's Jesuit technology. Maybe it does work and there are people that know it works. I can quite believe that. I can talk about mechanisms, but I'd rather leave that I'd rather put that in a context for serious research with Jeremy Narby or somebody. Yeah, it would be okay. But with medicine men type people walking along, meeting me in the street and then barking like dogs and dog skulls appearing outside my door, it's all a bit much to handle. It's all a bit everywhere, everything everywhere all at once. So did we get an elephant to Switzerland, Roger? And did your vigour, you maintained that vigour and just by having lots of discussions with people at the Pentagon, the NSA? And you didn't swear once in that interview. Gotta learn to say baloney and oh wow. I guess I need to find a video of you talking to see that I'm not being conned by now. I did see some adverts for a security company based in Miami calling themselves Shellman, and for a while they looked like they were doing sort of promising things, but then when I actually looked into it seemed to be webinars on I don't know what, and I thought, oh, I'm just publicizing somebody's online business. Hopefully this is on internal storage and the video hasn't cut off. I'm almost starting to get the hang of being able to do system administration on my phone and not have my thought processes completely ruined by it, but still I lost a lot of what I thought about before I did system administration to check my storage to make this video. That process just I can't remember whose anecdote Marcus told me the other day that the steady state of disks is full.